Hello everyone. This is Anvesh Chakargai and Arshdeep Singh presenting our project titled Designing a Lightweight CNN-based Model for Crop Disease Detection, guided by our professor Dr. Arad Mishra. So our goal is to leverage deep learning architectures to create an efficient, lightweight model that can detect crop diseases directly from images. By designing a model optimized for edge devices, we aim to make crop disease detection accessible and deployable in real world. Hence, our problem statement is to make a lightweight model as compact as possible for edge AI use. This model must be deployable on mobile and embedded devices for crop disease detection. So, what we did in this project is we implemented three models. Firstly, a simple CNN based model. Secondly, a pre-trained mobile net V3 model. And lastly, we implemented a modified mobile net V3 model with customized parameters and features for achieving improved efficiency, smaller size, and reduced latency for our specific application of plant disease detection. After that, we summarized the results of performance metrics and compared the size of the models trained. Now, the first model CNN, the CNN refers to convolution neural networks. It has mainly three layers, which are convolution layer, pooling layer, and fully connected layer. This first convolution layer is used to extract the various features from the input images. Kernels or filters are used to extract these features. Next is the pooling layer. The primary aim of this layer is to decrease the size of the convolved feature map. Other one is the fully connected layer. The fully connected layer consists of the weights and biases along with neurons and is used to connect neurons between two different layers inside the fully connected layer. So, in this project, we first did the literature survey of these two papers. This is the first paper. In this paper, mobile nets are introduced. Mobile nets are based on structure or streamlined architecture that is used depth-wise separable convolution to build lightweight deep neural networks. And two simple global hyperparameters that are efficiently trade-off between latency and accuracy are presented. These hyperparameters allows us to choose the right size model for our applications. These two hyperparameters are width multiplier and resolution multiplier. So as we talked about the depth-wise separable convolution, here as we can see the left side image, depth-wise convolution applies a single filter to each input channel. The pointwise convolution then applies a 1 cross 1 convolution to combine these outputs of the depthwise convolution. Now, the depthwise separable convolution splits this into two layers, a separate layer for filtering and a separate layer for combining, hence reducing the computation model size as we can see in the diagram in the right. So, also we talked about the width multiplier and resolution multiplier. This, as we can see, are helping in reducing the computation cost linearly for each layer. Here rho is applied on input image and alpha is applied on each layer. So in this project, we used all these hyperparameters and techniques as well. The next paper is searching for MobileNet v3. In this paper, architectural modifications which are possible according to our requirements are introduced. Switch nonlinearity activation, which is modified to hard switch with ReLU is used. Squeeze excitation block. For this, we did changes in bottleneck structure, specifically in the last layers. Also in this paper, two models are proposed. Firstly, the MobileNet v3 large and MobileNet v3 small. Talking about the first modification, as we can see in the image, bottleneck structure of the MobileNet v2 above is modified and last 1 cross 1 convolution layer is moved past the average pooling layer. So then below in the image, hence previous bottleneck projection is no longer needed to reduce computation, therefore removed. The second modification we can talk about is the nonlinearity switch. Nonlinearity switch is used in MobileNet v3, but it depends on sigmoid function, which is expensive for mobile devices. Hence, hard switch is used in its place. Also, the squeeze and excite, that is SE layer bottleneck. So previously, the size of the SE bottleneck was relative the size of the convolution bottleneck. But instead here, we replace them all to fixed to be 1/4 of the number of channels in the expansion layer in our model. So according to these papers also, these modifications are useful. So all these three techniques of this paper also we utilized in our project. This is the generalized mobile net architecture, and this is the our customized model. So The simple mobile net V3 Lite model is designed to be lightweight. The selective optimizations, including hard switch activation and squeeze activation SE blocks, are used. It contains these following layers as bulleted. Initial convolution layer, a 3x3 convolution with a stride of 2 and padding of 1, followed by batch normalization and hard switch activation function. This layer downsamples the input and extracts low-level features. The next is the bottleneck blocks. These are 5. Using a depth-wise separable convolution structure and efficient computation, each bottleneck block has 3 main components: point-wise convolution expansion, depth-wise convolution, and point-wise convolution projection. So the point-wise convolution expansion expands the input channels, depth-wise convolution applies the depth-wise convolution, and the point-wise convolution projection projects the output channels back to the specified number of the next layer. These bottlenecks are defined as some using SE block included and some are not using these SE blocks. Next, the final convolution blocks, it have a 1x1 convolution layer and a batch normalization with hard switch activation. The last one is the global pooling and fully connected layer. It contains a global average pooling layer to reduce the spatial dimensions and a fully connected layer with a softmax output for classification. So this is the implementation of our whole project, and this is the outputs. The performance of our model can be displayed in these images. Thank you.
Let's understand the architecture of our model. Uh, at first, we have applied a convolution layer in which a 2D convolution is applied with kernel size of 3, stride 2, and padding 1. There is then there is batch normalization, and then there is activation function, which we use as a hard switch activation function. There is bottleneck block, which greatly helps to reduce the size of the model while keeping it efficient. Then there is again convolution layer. Then there is a pooling layer in which adaptive average pooling is used. Then there is a fully connected layer. Let's see what is inside the bottleneck block. In the bottleneck block, there is a 1x1, that is also known as a point-wise convolution, is applied, which is computationally highly efficient than the normal convolution. And then the two layers are of the depth-wise convolution are applied to reduce the dimensionality. And then there is a squeeze excitation layer is applied, uh, and then again there is a 2D convolution is applied, and then there is a batch normalization. Let's see what is inside the squeeze excitation. In squeeze excitation, first there is average pooling layer, then there is convolution, then there is ReLU, then there is convolution, then again there is a ReLU activation function is used. The main purpose of the squeeze excitation is that this block acts as a channel-wise attention mechanism, enabling the network to recalibrate its feature maps while learning the importance of the different uh, channels. It focuses on the more rich features while keeping the model efficient. The hard switch activation function is based on the ReLU itself. It is there is also another activation function which is swish, but they are almost similar, but the hard swish function is computationally more efficient than the swish activation function. That's why we have used the hard switch function. Uh, then let's understand how the model training is happening here. Uh, For the loss function, we have used the cross entropy loss criteria. Then for the optimizer function, we have used the Adam optimizer with the learning rate of 0.001. It is the rate with which the model will update, model will learn the new updated weights to minimize the loss function. Then to evaluate our model, we have used it, there are a number of performance parameters of the model. We have we will calculate and store these model parameters during the training, so that we after the training we can comment on the performance of the uh, this model. Then there is a, here we have defined the training training model, which will require the uh, architecture of the model, the criteria for the loss function. Then there is how we are optimizing, like there are a number of ways in which we can optimize our model. Optimizing our model means updating the weights to decrease the loss function. Then we will be training this model on the 25 epochs, and the training process, as we already know, is the same. There will be forward pass, and then there will be calculation of the loss function. Then to decrease that loss function, uh, there will be a back propagation, and the uh, um, weights will be updated for all the for the all given given inputs. And then it will the process will repeat for the given number of epochs. At the end, the model will be saved in a file. And here you can see we have calculating the performance parameters during the training itself. Let's now test our trained model, how it is performing on the uh, test image data. So for the given image from the test data, it is predicting that it is the leaf of an apple tree, and it is infected with the apple scab.